Hello, everybody. I'm Koshi George. I'm a CPA and I'm a chartered accountant based out of Silicon Valley. But here I am on the East Coast in Florida at the animal kingdom of Walt Disney World and talking to you. You know, I have not known what relaxation is for a little over 6 months now. Not just me, my wife, and our daughter too. And I've been writing on LinkedIn for some time now, and some of you may have read it, some of you have not. But this video is meant to be kind of conveying all that I've written over time to summarize. And so this is just about the most beautiful place to do it. I'm so glad that my wife suggested that we leave for a short vacation, get away from Silicon Valley and for all the troubles that we have been through, quite unnecessarily. I've been in practice for 13 years now as a CPA, and I credit a lot of my saying goodbye to the corporate world and getting into my own practice to my dear wife, who suggested that to me 13 years ago, that I should start something of my own, and I did on her prompting. And here I am 13 years later, confronted with one of the most weird situations. Nobody would ever face something like this. I don't think so. But that's exactly what my wife and I have been through, along with our preteen daughter. I've lived this is my 24th year in the United States of America, and I'm an American citizen. I'm originally from India. We had very comfortable and dignified lives back in India, both of us, and then we came here. We embraced America because we believe in America. And, we never imagined ever that we would be victims of intense bullying, intense racism, right here in Silicon Valley. I'm so glad that I'm all the way on the East Coast and talking to you, because out there, my mind would never be free to express what I'm expressing, what I'm about to express. You see, on the 30th of November of last year, in the middle of COVID, we are all at home and working from home, and we also have a lot more time on our hands, right? So I decided to take care of a problem in my backyard, and that was to cut down two Mexican palm trees, which are considered as unwanted trees because they grow everywhere and they create quite a mess. They're not the decorative kind. And I inherited this as part of purchasing the home that we live in, and the entire property is a single family home with a decent piece of land around it. And it has been a reason for my wife's constant allergies issues, and even the doctors have said you got to do something about these trees, these and some others also. And so, being COVID and having time on my hands and spending more time with the family, I travel a lot internationally. I do a lot of travel within the US as well, so I wouldn't get much time to think about all this then. So my wife was managing the medicines. I said, okay, you know what, now that the same allergy is kind of coming on to my daughter as well, so I said, hey, let me get rid of it. I found out that there was no need for a permit to get rid of these trees. And so I called a licensed guy. The fellow was costing an arm and a leg to get rid of these trees and, stub them to the ground. I got another person, came well recommended on Nextdoor, and got him and his team to come and cut down the palm trees on 30th of November 2020. And this is completely in my backyard. My neighbor who stays next door has nothing to do with it. It's more than, let me say, more than 25 to 30 to 40 meters away from his home. It has nothing to do with it. And he rings the doorbell and asks me what I'm doing. And I said, I'm taking care of some things in the backyard. He starts abusing me in the foulest way possible. 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm preparing breakfast for my daughter who's doing online schooling. And he starts abusing me profusely. And I don't know why he's abusing me. You know, you don't expect somebody to ring your doorbell and start abusing you. I just close the door and get back to, as maybe he got up from the wrong side of the bed, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. But I go and take care of things, and I go and sit down in my office room to work. I have an office near Santana Row, but I've hardly been there for more than a year now. I just go there, I just pay rent because I don't know when this COVID will end. But so I'm working out of home, and I open my text. You know, there's a bunch of threats from this guy, my neighbor, and then there's email messages with more threats. I'm like, what's wrong with this fellow? And this is a highly educated guy, an MBA from Pepperdine University, a JD from Santa Clara Jesuit University, a man who has taught there at the Jesuit University law, a person who practices law for 42 and a half years in downtown San Jose, who's been with the United States Marine Corps. And such a person, this is not some imbecile. This is a person who's actively pursuing his own profession. And he makes it his business to come home, ring my doorbell, abuse me, threaten me, just because I cut down a tree. And dares me to cut down the other tree. By this time, he has chased away all the contractor, the entire contractor staff over there. There were 8 or 9 guys. He chased them all away, abused them first of all, starts abusing. My neighbor, incidentally, is a person who, if you listen to him speak to you, your cranium, you know, the cranium is the inside of the brain, I mean, your inside of your head, it starts wanting to go out of form, or there's turbulence in your head because his voice is like that, the way, and the first thing you hear is the worst abuses. That's what you'll hear. And it's horrible. And so we've known him to be that way for the longest time, but then he never interfered with us. So, you know, we carried on living. We lived here for 16 years. Great home. And all of a sudden, this situation. And then he goes on making life difficult for us. He stares down my daughter who is to play in our front yard, and on the driveway. He drives up to her and revs up his car and, you know, his SUV, and stares at her, puts fright into her, messes around with our garbage bins, frustrates us from parking our cars, abuses my wife, who is a frontline worker. She's a medical professional in Santa Clara County Hospital. Wonderful lady, my wife. Not just because she's my wife, she's a wonderful person. Abuses her. Clients visit me at home because I'm working from home and we have a young daughter. She's online schooling. It's very difficult for me to leave home and then come back. So I'm working from home largely during the entire COVID time. And my wife, she goes to work early in the morning. And in the middle of all this situation, we lost our mother-in-law. My wife had to go back to India for the funeral and other things. And she was gone for a month. During all of this time, there are 5 times we called the police. And it's the 5th time it struck me, why is it the police is not able to do anything about all this? I step out of the house, he starts abusing, cussing, saying the worst things. I said, what is wrong with this man? And then I realized he's probably trying to get us out of this home. He's trying to chase us away. He abuses my clients, he abuses any other contractors who come to my home. They can't park their cars, gets into fights with them, tells me to get out of the country. Where? My wife to get out of the country. Where do we go? We're American citizens. We've been here for 24 plus years. Where do we go? Why would we go anywhere? Go water your buffaloes. I mean, his impressions about India are so long. Good God, more than half the Silicon Valley works because there are qualified Indian engineers working there. Why? Shantanu Narayan, head of Adobe Systems, the head of Google or Alphabet, one of those companies, is Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Microsoft. These are all Indians. What is he talking about? Get out of this country and go to your own country. Go water your buffaloes and all kinds of filth and nonsense. I mean, this is not on just because you're white or you have a different skin pigmentation to mine. What kind of nonsense is this? Why would he do this? Do I come across as some imbecile, some rustic villager? I'm a qualified person. I came to this country qualified. I'm working here. I have my own CPA practice. I function as the president of a company based out of Denver, Colorado, at the will of the board over there. I am involved with a lot of pro bono work in the United States. I mean, what is this nonsense that you go back to your own country? And these are things that puzzled us. You know, every time I called the police would just give an incident report and a ticket and go away. And then it struck me, what he does is, every time they come, he threatens them. He says, I'm a Vietnam War veteran. Get out of my house. And then he starts abusing the police. And the police just, I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer in San Jose. I'm very rich. You can't touch me. Is this the way to talk? Is this the way lawyers behave? Is this the way personal injury lawyers behave? And then he keeps saying, you got to be arrested. I got to get you arrested. For what? What have I done? I took down a tree, 2 trees on my property with the permit from San Jose City, saying these are unwanted trees. It says that on the permit. And this fellow has the audacity to say that I got it by fraudulent means. What is this? He's not the sheriff of my mayor of my city. He's not the sheriff of the county, but he behaves like one in that immediate neighborhood. And we happen to know very closely because we live next door to the rascal. And it's been enormously difficult. More than 6 months of my work life has been wasted. Troubled, actually. A lot of my team members were down with COVID. And we're dealing with so much. I had so many plans to grow the business this year, expand the business. Everything came to a grinding halt because of COVID, not because of him. But then his agony, the agony he has caused us, the pain he has caused us, has been impossible to live with. Where do we go? Can you just sell your house and go away? And go where? Your child is studying here. She has friends here. She has the proximity of where we live. It's a school. How do you deal with this problem? And this is an educated man. This is not some bozo. It would have been easier to deal with the bozo, but the fellow is a lawyer. The police are afraid of him. The San Jose police captain called him the day before we took out the secondary, and thank God we took out the secondary in the presence of the police. Otherwise, this fellow would have chased away these contractors, abused them. At least 5 contractors have been chased away from our home by this man with his foul language and demeanor. Sometimes he's wielding a sickle or something in his hand. He'll come at people with that. What is this? I belong to a profession. He belongs to a profession. Why is it that lawyers behave like this? Is this the way? Tomorrow, this matter goes to court, and it will go to court. I do not know how the court system is going to take this, but I just wanted to get my word out there. I'm a professional. I'm on LinkedIn, and I just wanted you to know. If some of you are my clients, I just want you to know that I will never leave you high and dry. I may have slowed down a lot because of this ridiculous situation. It is too shocking for me to know what's going on. I have a child at home. I'm worried about my child. My child hasn't slept properly. Ever since this incident happened, she refuses to play outside. Every time she steps out, this fellow stares her down. He ought to be ashamed of himself. He's a grandfather himself. How can you ill-treat us when we, every day from morning to evening, he's blaring his radio at the highest volume? You know why? Because he wants to frustrate us. Because he wants me to get into a fight with him. I'll never give him a fight. I'm from the land of Mahatma Gandhi. I'm a strong believer in non-violence. I don't wield guns. I'm not going to get I'm not going to get into a fight with him. I'm going to call him names like he calls me names. I won't do these kind of things. But what really worries me, my family as well, is very recently we had the worst shootings in San Jose at the VTA. It's national news, it's international news. What worries me is that, I'm not afraid of this idiot, neither is my wife or my daughter. We're going to face this head on. You know what? This is the land of Abraham Lincoln. This is the land of Martin Luther King. This is the land where Rosa Parks stood her ground against racial abuses and slurs at her and harm to her. I guess this is our time to stand up. He probably expects we are Asians, and so by abusing us, we will leave this house, sell it, and go away. No, that's not us. We're questioning. We left our country and we came here to the United States we had dignified lives, with good lives. Nobody, even if somebody is illegal in this country, should be disrespected the way this man does to us. Nobody deserves this.
We have to go.
And yet this has gone on for 6 months. There is reports after reports with the police about what he does, but they can't do anything. I've written to the district attorney of Santa Clara County, Honorable Jeff Rosen. No answer. I've written to all the district attorneys. Nobody seems to be bothered. Tomorrow, if this fellow pulls it, obviously he has a gun. He's an ex-United States Marine fellow. He pulls his gun, and then the only news in the San Jose Mercury news will be, a husband, wife, and a child from India who are US citizens were shot dead. Is that the way? Is that the way this has to be addressed? And there will be 100 police cars outside the house. I'm trying to address this because a problem needs to be prevented. Such kind of people should not be allowed to enter into society. Okay, fine, America goes to war to different countries. Today he says, I'm a Vietnam War veteran. Tomorrow, it'll be 10 years later, it'll be somebody, I'm an Afghanistan war veteran. I'm a Desert Storm war veteran. Or I'm a Kosovo war veteran. Don't you dare come to my house. Now, that's not the reason why, army veterans, when they come out into society and they become lawyers or they become whatever they become, they can't start attacking, civilian society with this kind of bad behavior. Something has to be done. Something is wrong at the US Army level or the armed forces level. I have relatives in the armed forces at very high positions in the US Armed Forces. If they come to know about this, they'll be shocked. What we've been weathering as a family. Tomorrow this matter goes to court. I don't know whether the plaintiff becomes the defendant. Here I am, the aggrieved party. I'm saying this to you. But in the court, this fellow may turn the whole thing around in his favor. And the judge might say, yeah, he's a Vietnam War veteran. You can't say anything to a Vietnam War veteran. That is utter nonsense. That is utter nonsense. That's what I want to bring out. What we've gone through, nobody should go through. Nobody. Your skin color does not determine your superiority over another human being. Never. Never. I'm very upset. But I'll tell one thing to my clients. Don't be afraid. You won't have the same kind of problems I had this time around. I was too shocked for quite a long time with so many worries on my mind that I couldn't handle this. I couldn't handle my work and this nonsense going on simultaneously every day. Your home is your sanctuary. You live there. It's supposed to be a haven of rest, but it has not been for us. Trust me. Come and see our home area. It's like a war zone. This fellow has made it that way. He's got a chain wall around, between our two homes with American flags planted on it and all kinds of memorabilia, and almost to say that his side onwards is America and our side is barbarian territory. It's ridiculous. I want Honorable Jeff Rosen to see this video. I know he has not read my email, or none of the district attorneys have read my email. I want the San Jose South Police Captain to see this video. I want the Governor of California, Governor Newsom, to see this video. I want Vice President Kamala Harris to see this video. I want President Biden to see this video. This is not the way first-generation immigrants or anybody should be treated in America by somebody because he feels his color of skin is superior to mine. And I can be ill-treated, I can be called all kinds of names to get out of this country, go back to your own country. We don't want you here. You should hear the way he yells. I have all this on video, by the way. If I start releasing videos, there won't be an end to it. We have surveillance cameras that have got all this mischief, a lot of the mischief. Some of it is very clever. He stands between cameras so you can't see him, and then he starts saying these abuses. Of course, the cameras are weak. They don't catch all the sounds. But this is wrong. This is wrong. It shouldn't happen anywhere in America. And I'm standing up for it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I don't know tomorrow when it goes to court how this is going to be regarded. I don't know how the court system, but this is the truth. This is what exactly has happened. And because he's seeing that this is not working, I had my own lawyers who are based out of Los Angeles. They sent 2 cease and desist letters to him. They saw all the evidences and they knew what was going on. And this fellow, he turned around and started threatening those lawyers. And they said, Koshi, we don't have an agreement with you to do this. We can't pursue this. You better get a local person to help you out. But they're very sympathetic towards me. And when this fellow saw that I was not backing down, he started attacking the company that I had as the president called America's Tax Solutions Inc. He started attacking my practice. He started saying all kinds of nonsense, ridiculous nonsense. I don't want to talk about all that now. But this is what's been going on. And I feel it my duty to tell the professionals out there, if you're like me, a first-generation immigrant to the United States, and you are busy in your profession, and if your neighbor starts harassing you like this, stand up, please. Don't look the other way. I've asked my immediate neighbors to come around me, but nobody does. Everybody's afraid of this guy. But you know what? Attacking my daughter, that's the worst thing. I can take all kinds of nonsense. But when you attack my own daughter, bring your own SUV up to her and rev it up and kind of stare her down every time she walks out of the house, that's not on. That's not on. That's what makes me most angry. That this kind of thing can happen in the United States of America. This is not a third world country. We believe in America, despite this problem, despite all the agony that we continue to go through. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be back in our place and we'll be getting busy with our work. My wife will be back working at the hospital. I'll be getting back into my practice. And this stupid thing will keep on going on. The police can't do anything. What nonsense is this? You call them, they come, they twiddle their thumbs and go away because he's a Vietnam War veteran. He's a lawyer. He's right and I'm wrong. What kind of logic is this? What kind of logic is this? I'm asking you, dear viewer. We are all people of ordinary prudence. We are all here on this forum as different professionals. We don't deal with people based on the color of your skin or start abusing them. I've heard a lot of stuff from people saying that this is PTSD. This is not PTSD. For God's sake, this is not PTSD. This is not somebody who's suffering from this. Is a very vicious character. He's a personal injury lawyer, and he's a very nasty character. I spoke to an attorney in San Jose this is much earlier, in early January, because of this problem. Our backyard was a mess for months on end. He chased away all the contractors. There was a mess all around the backyard. We couldn't use our backyard. And I spoke to a lawyer, and the lawyer expressed sympathies to me. He says, you have no idea about who your neighbor is. I said, why? What happened? He's the nastiest lawyer in San Jose. This is the words, not my words. The lawyer himself says, he knows the entire Santa Clara legal system, and he will make you be on the streets of San Jose. That's how powerful he is. Now that I come against that. I think that's very wrong. I'm a global citizen. I've worked in many countries all around the globe. I've worked in India too before I came here. I'm living here. This is my 24th year in the United States. I believe that kind of an opinion is wrong. There has to be a lawyer who will stand up for me and my family. There has to be. This is injustice. This is not just about me selling my house. I can do that. I can sell my house and move away somewhere else, and that's not the point. This is much deeper than just running away from a situation. This needs to be faced head on, and that's what I'm talking to you about. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you. This is a 24.37 minutes long video. By the time I'm done, it'll be 25 minutes. But I just want to thank you, and I just want you to be brave. If you're an immigrant like me to the United States of America, please be brave. Please be strong. Don't let bullies bully you. No racism, no bullying. You're all Americans. Thank you so much.